not predetermined. A good example, you like a jigsaw puzzle? All the pieces are different in the jigsaw puzzle. But if you buy 2 boxes of the same jigsaw puzzle, there's going to be a piece in that one and a piece in that one that are the same. So they were predetermined to be cut a certain way. If you take a trash bag, and you need a trash bag, and you tear it from another one, it's not a unique tear. It's already perforated. It's already determined that you're going to tear it. So this item doesn't have some area on it that's predetermined to snap or away. So the force to it is not reproducible because we don't know what the force was created. So that makes it potentially unique. So when you look under the stereoscope and see if you see irregularities on the object, item 28, and we look for those mirror image irregularities on the door, and when that occurs, we say this piece came from that piece. And in this case, it did.
After concluding that these 2 objects share a common origin, what do you then do with the evidence?
I then repackage it as we see today, and then I will generate a report.
And did that conclude your involvement in this investigation?
Yes.
Thank you. No further questions.
Cross-examination?
Officer Hamlin, good afternoon. How are you, sir?
Yes. Good, thank you.
My name is Salam Zain. I represent the accused in this matter. I'm just going to ask you a few questions about your report, your analysis, and some of your testimony.
Yes, sir.
So, kind of in a nutshell, what the prosecution presented, what they asked you to do, was to take the fragments that they presented to you to see if it matches what was missing in the door. I mean, I know I'm kind of simplifying it, but you took what was given to you to see if it came from and matched the piece of material that was missing from the cabinet door, correct?
Yes.
And it was. There was a match, yes? That's your opinion?
Yes.
And you did this testing pursuant to a request, yes?
Yes.
And the request came from who?
The laboratory request was filled out by Jane Gonzalez.
Did you see her out in the hall? She was a young lady, a crime scene officer, correct?
Yes.
So she specifically sent you a request to see if the piece, it's a Formica piece, correct?
That's the description.
Okay. What's described as Formica, would that piece match the cabinet door that's right in front of you, yes?
Yes.
And would it be fair to say that your analysis and whatever you've done in this case is pursuant to a request from another law enforcement officer or entity, correct?
Yes, but to be clear, not another law enforcement officer on the civilian.
Okay, I apologize. But whatever work you do in terms of your analysis is done pursuant to the request of someone involved in this case, yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Don't call me sir, it makes me feel a little old. So, here are a few questions that I have for you. Today, in front of this jury, can you make a determination of how that piece of Formica was dislodged from the cabinet?
No.
Do you know how much force it would require to dislodge that piece of Formica?
No.
And you're not able to form an opinion with regards to those 2 issues, correct?
That's correct.
Is there a test that can be performed to make a determination as to how that piece of Formica came off the cabinet door?
As I had mentioned earlier, there's multiple variables, meaning the weight of the object that's performing the damage, the speed at what is hitting, and at the angle. So there's multiple variables. So there could be multiple scenarios that could cause it to break, or even a greater force that is still possible.
And if you were to test a slew of these variables, would there be a test that would make a determination as to how that piece of Formica was dislodged from that cabinet door? What's been described as Formica? I don't know if it is.
Correct. I don't know. No.
Is there a test?
I'm not aware of it.
And because you're not aware of one, does that mean that one does not exist, or that you do not know, that you or have not been trained or not specifically aware of a specific test?
That would be out of my scope.
Out of your scope, okay? Pardon me, Judge. So Officer Rosello sent you those documents, I apologize, the exhibits that are in front of you, correct? Well, let me rephrase it.
Thank you.
You received what's in front of you when?
The laboratory received on a particular date.
Do you recall what that date is?
I would have to look at the report.
Do you have your report? Can you use it to refresh your recollection? Just go ahead and take a look at your report. When your recollections are fresh, let me know. Is your recollection refreshed, Mr. Hanlon? Tell me.
On August 9th, 2013, the laboratory received the evidence.
And since receiving the evidence and doing your due diligence, did that evidence stay in your care, custody, and control the whole time?
In the laboratory, yes.
Okay.
Meaning on the date that I performed the examination, when I took it out, it was sealed. So
Correct.
Yes.
Did any other part of the police department request to do their own separate analysis on that door?
No.
And if they did, you would have known about it because they would have had to come get it from you, correct?
They would have been listed on the property receipt for chain of custody.
And was it listed?
No, sir.
In your report, is there a portion of it, do you recall, grab it real quick. Is there a reference in your report to what my client's potential defense in this case is?
In my report, no.
Give me 1 second, please. Detective Rosello submitted an analysis request, the one that we discussed earlier, correct?
Yes.
And do you have that with you?
Yes.
Do you recall that Detective Rosello indicated on that form whether or not she had an opinion as to whether defense would be raised in this case?
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
Do you recall seeing any statements with regards to my client's defense being raised on that form?
Objection, hearsay.
As phrased, sustained.
Did you learn, upon receipt of the form, any possible defenses that my client would raise in this case?
Objection, Judge, hearsay.
Sustained.
Is it common for crime scene officers to annotate potential defenses in a case in a lab request form?
Let me say this, that our responsibility is to either confirm or refute the story. So a detective may say, we have this information. Please determine if this happened.
So, I understand that, but my question was, is it common? Well, let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Mr. Hanlon, how long have you been working for Miami-Dade?
28 years.
28 years. Those 28 years, how many lab request forms do you get? Would it be fair to say a lot? Numerous. Is it common for there to be notes with regards to a potential defense in a case on that form?
Common, no. Most of the time it's straightforward. Please look for suspect fires.
And what they were looking for in this case was for you to match a piece of 11 purported Formica to a cabinet, correct?
Yes.
Do you find it odd that there was reference to a potential defense annotated on the lab request form, given the fact that you were asked to do that analysis?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
I'm sorry, your question was odd?
Did you find it odd?
Odd, okay. My target is what are they asking for?
Right.
What do they want? And that's basically anything else is, as long as it makes sense of what they're asking for, I'll perform that analysis.
Right.
So anything else added to it, honestly doesn't affect my work.
Okay.
So they could put something and it's like, honestly.
No, I understand. You didn't write it. But
I don't understand. What I'm saying is that you may give me information and some of the information doesn't matter to me because it's focused on what they're asking compared to that.
Did that information that you received matter to you in your analysis?
No. No further question.
Redirect? Sir, you are excused.
Thank you.
Would the state call next witness?
Yes, Your Honor. State called Officer Pasquale.
Officer Pascal, please. You will please come forward to be sworn.
Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. You may have a seat of the witness stand.
Look inside her real quick.
Ma'am, just please make sure that all of your answers are out loud so all of the jurors can hear you. Mr. Dunham, the machine is ready, and you may begin.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you please state your name?
Elena Castro,
Can you spell that for the record?
H-N-A-V-E-L-L-A, Castro, P-A-S-Q-U-A.
What is your current occupation?
I'm a detective with the Miami-Dade Police Department.
How long have you been with the Miami-Dade Police Department?
13 years, going on 13 years.
And what unit are you assigned to?
I'm assigned to the crime scene bureau.
How long have you been with crime scene?
Going on 10 years.
Were you on duty back on August 8th of 2013?
Yes, sir.
And on that date, you were assigned to investigate a homicide under this case number PD 13080829163.
Yes, sir.
How did you become involved in this investigation?
We received a call from one of the homicide detectives requesting our assistance as crime scene to report the incident.
And were you assigned as the lead crime scene investigator?
No, sir.
Who was assigned to the lead crime scene investigator?
That will be Detective Yvonne Garcia.
And what address did you respond to?
Sir, I believe it was, I remember the apartment number 105.
Is there anything that will refresh your recollection?
I have a report here.
Please take a look at it, and when your recollection is refreshed as to the address, please look up.
5555 Southwest 67th Avenue.
Is that in Miami-Dade County, Florida?
Yes, sir.
Did you respond to this scene?
Yes, I did.
Did you enter the residence?
Yes, I did.
Did you collect any items of evidence from within the residence?
Yes, I did.
Showing counsel what has been marked for identification as states 1H. Our approach. Officer, I'm showing you states 1H for identification. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
How do you recognize it?
My initials, my handwriting, and my bachelor's numbers.
And what is the states 1H for identification?
We have, I believe, 2 items in here. It is an elite poster and a taser leather box.
And is this item in the same or substantially the same condition as when you located them at the residence that day?
Basically, after they're sent to proper areas, they're put in a plastic bag, but the actual paper bags are today.
At this time, the state moves 1H into evidence.
Any objections?
No.
So moved.
Certificate number 137.
Could you please open states 137? If you have gloves, if you'd like to.
In there for a while.
And could you please open the packaging containing the holster and show it to the jury? Now, may the witness publish your vigilance.
She may.
You can step down and give the jury a closer look at that. Thank you, officer. You can place the item back into the paper bag and hand it back. you perform a bloodstain pattern analysis of the crime scene in this case?
Yes, sir.
Now, are all crime scene officers with Miami-Dade certified and authorized to conduct a bloodstain pattern analysis?
No, sir.
And what training, study, or preparation do you have to undergo in order to perform bloodstain pattern analysis within the Miami-Dade Police Department Crime Scene Bureau?
We go through several courses that are taught by our bloodstain pattern analysis expert, Toby Wilson. During the time, I've gone to 3 of his courses. They're about 40 hours each. And I also took a course that was given by the outside agency, Color Screen, and the instructor was Jan Johnson.
When did you take these courses?
It's probably going to be within a period of the last 6 years.
Who is Toby Wilson? You mentioned his name.
He works, actually he just retired from Miami-Dade about a week ago. But he was one of the analysis for the crime scene laboratory of our department.
How long have you been doing bloodstain pattern analysis for Miami-Dade?
I would say about 5 years.
And do you undergo continuing education and training in this area to allow you to continue to perform it?
Correct, sir.
And have you testified in court on this area previously?
Couple times, sir.
Now, can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what exactly is bloodstain pattern analysis?
Right, bloodstain pattern analysis is an interpretation of bloodstains in a crime scene in order to reconstruct the causes of that bloodshed.
And what is the purpose of bloodstain pattern analysis?
We can gather a lot of information from it. One would be the point of origin. We can also get the distance between a target and surface. We can determine movement or lack of movement before and after a bloodshed. We can determine the position of the person doing the bloodshed and how many hits or shots were involved in the incident.
What areas of crime scene did you perform bloodstain pattern analysis on in this particular investigation?
The blood pattern was confined to the small area of the kitchen and the residence.
Officer, I'm showing you what has been admitted as evidence as states 135. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
That's the area of the residence that you just referred to.
Yes.
And for the record, what area of the residence is that?
And this is the kitchen, and the exact area that we are talking about will be the northeast area.
And I'm also going to show you all that happens 131, 132, 133, 134, and 136 in evidence. Do you recognize these photographs as being essentially photographs of that same general area?
That is correct.
And what's the purpose of taking all of these photographs by crime scene?
So basically, this is the documentation of the scene when it comes to the blood pattern. It shows not only the height, the width of the area that was spattered, it also gives you the how small or big or medium are those blood spatters.
Did you write a report in this case which reference your work as a bloodstain pattern analyst?
Yes, it is.
And were you able to reach any opinions or conclusions based upon your area of that corner of the kitchen, based on your view of the photos and your view of the scene?
Judge, I'm going to object to this. I don't think that she's been qualified as an expert at this point.
Overruled.
Were you able to reach any conclusions in this area?
Yes, it is.
And can you please tell the jury what, if any, opinions or conclusions you were able to reach based upon your view of this area in your inspection?
Upon reviewing the area that was the blood pattern in the kitchen, my conclusion was that the source of the bloodshed was stationary, and the source of the bloodshed was also lower than the area where the blood spatter was located.
And Your Honor, could I have the witness step down, please? Officer, I'm going to have you step down if you would. I'm going to show you the overall view, which is the evidence of State 135 in evidence. And could you please explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury exactly why you reached the conclusions that you reached based upon the blood stains that you observed with that technique?
Right, and before I even go into explaining this, the area where we actually got our analysis, you have to understand that before...
Objection, Judge, she's not answering the question.
Sustained, do you want to ask a question, Mr. Dunn?
Okay. You conducted the other examinations of the area in terms of your total crime scene processing and blood stain analysis area.
Correct.
Okay, what else do you do?
Before we even start with the analysis of that area that is the most obvious one, we look into all the areas of the kitchen or the closest to where the blood spatter was to determine whether there was other areas that needed to be studied. After doing that, we determined that the only areas that we were seeing that it was blood spatter was just to that area of the northeast corner and also the French fascia.
Okay, so can you just point out to the jury and with your finger on the photograph what area the blood is confined to in this scene?
Pretty much anywhere between this area and of course, the obvious where the body was.
And now, continuing on, you explain to the jury, looking at the photograph now, where you determine, or what you determine with respect to the blood stain patterns and how they were related and where they
Due to the fact that the patterns are very low and also did not reach more than about 2 feet and a half inches from the floor, we determined that in order for this to happen, the source of blood had to be at a lower location than the actual surface that this pattern actually hit.
Showing you now states 131 in evidence. Are you able to see some of the apparent blood stains in that photograph? Can you explain to the jury what they're seeing with respect to these particular blood stains?
This is typical of a small to medium sized blood spatter, right? One of the things that I can explain to you guys so you understand why I'm going to say that the pattern is going in an upward direction is because, as you can see this one in particular. You see a head, and you see a tail.
She's giving an
Legal grounds, please.
narrative.
Overruled. May I continue?
So basically, that's just telling me that the blood is being transferred from a lower place to a higher place. And now it's giving me a direction of where this blood is coming from.
And I'm going to now show you states 132 in evidence. Can you please tell the jury what, if anything, you're able to determine from the blood stains on that photograph?
The other area that was studied was there's 3 types of blood patterns. It's the passive, you have also the transfer, and you have then the ending.
Narrative, non-responsive.
Overruled.
So in this case, I'm seeing two types of patterns. I'm seeing the transfer pattern, which is going to be this area over here. It looks like it's marsh.
For the record, we're referring to the lower portion of the evidence.
Correct.
Okay.
And then I'm going to see also what I already explained to you guys was the apex pattern from a force that is being produced as either hip blood or something like a shock or gun is used. It's an impact, it's a force that is given to that blood to spread. So in this case, on the transfer, is consistent with either the elbow area or arm of the victim.
Thank you, officer. You can have a seat. And officer, how small or how large was this kitchen?
I believe it was in the length, it was less than 6 feet, and the width was less than 4 feet. Very small.
And were there other surfaces around the kitchen, like cabinets and other things in the surrounding area?
Yes.
Were those checked?
Yes.
Did you observe any other apparent blood stains, cast off, or anything on all of those upper or lower surrounding surfaces besides just that one area the jury has seen?
No.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Judge, do you want me to begin my examination now?
Yes.
Thank you, Judge. Detective, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Sam Zayn. I represent Mr. Medina. I'm going to ask you questions with regards to your testimony as well as your investigation in this case, if that's okay. So, the last question the prosecution asked you was in regards to the size of the kitchen, yeah? Do you recall that?
Yes.
And you said less than 6 feet in terms of disc length and less than 4 feet in terms of width, correct?
Correct.
You have a specific, you know exactly what the numbers are? I can tell you it's in your report, so if you want to check out your report.
It is 3.6 and 5.6.
Correct. Okay, and 3.6 means 3 feet 6 inches,
That is correct.
and 5.6 means 5 feet 6 inches, correct?
Correct.
You're aware that the decedent in this case was laying on a rug in the kitchen, correct?
Yes, sir.
And would you agree with me that, did you measure the size of the rug?
No, I did not. Not me, particularly.
Would you agree with me that the rug took up maybe half of the size of the kitchen? Do you recall?
Wasn't that big.
Okay. Now, in terms of, and I know it may not be your responsibility, but do you know what luminol is?
I do.
Okay. What is luminol?
Luminol is a chemical that is used when there is we suspect that there is a cleaning job on the crime that produces shedding of blood. If blood is present at a crime scene, there is no need for luminol because we can see the blood. But if the crime scene was a cleanup case, then luminol is used to fluorescent the areas of blood that are in contact with the blood.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, and tell me if I'm right or wrong. State's Exhibit 134, where it shows the top part of the stove, and you called this was that impact spatter or transfer
Can you
pattern?
show me the picture? I can tell.
Sure, no problem. May I approach, Judge? Thank you. Go ahead and take a look at it when you don't.
This particular one, correct?
Yes.
Is actually at the top of the stove. It's more towards the lower portion of the door of the stove. And it's on the northeast corner of that area, correct? This in particular represents impact spatter.
Okay, impact spatter. You agree with me that the impact spatter is a pattern of blood that is, pursuant to your testimony, expelled as a result of force, and it leaves this kind of splatter, correct?
That is correct.
Did you guys check the rug for any kind of impact spatter?
The rug was saturated with the post-mortem bleeding of the victim.
But that saturation was the top part of the rug.
The saturation was all over the rug.
Well, here, I'm going to show you what's marked as Exhibit 72. Okay, take a look at it. You see it?
You're telling me that this portion, the bottom portion of the rug is saturated in blood? I don't see it. Can you come point it out to the members of the jury? Can you do that?
Sir, if the photograph did not, was able to capture that, but there was a lot of blood in that part.
So you're telling me that the angle of this photograph, blood is somehow invisible to the naked eye? Because I don't see any blood anywhere south of the victim. Do you? Show me.
Not on that picture.
Okay. And just to clarify, did you check to see if there was impact spatter on the rug?
No, I didn't.
If Jennifer Alfonso was standing and she was shot further down, fell down to her knees, and then fell backwards, and there was impact spatter on this rug, you didn't check for it, correct? Right?
I will have to explain myself on that question.
No,
I
but
did not check.
Right.
But what you were trying to
But
explain
here's the thing.
Finish the answer. Ma'am, you may continue.
is not completely, correct.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this, and I'll ask it again. Did you check for impact splatter anywhere south or in this direction of the victim on the road? Yes or no?
No, because it wasn't seen.
Did you use luminol? I mean, you'll agree with me. This is a dark rug, yeah. It's a deep brown rug.
Sir, we will not use luminol if blood is already present.
Let me ask you this way. You agree with me that the rug in question is whose decision was it your decision not to take the rug, or was that someone else's decision?
Like I said, it was not my decision. I'm not involved in whether that blood was taken or not.
Now, you indicated earlier that you've taken 3 courses, 3 40-hour courses that are taught by Toby Wilson with regards to blood stain pattern analysis. Is that correct? Yes?
Yes.
That's the extent, is that the extent of your training on blood stain pattern analysis? I apologize for getting it.
Like I said before, I took another course with another outside agency, and of course, after you take these courses, now you're going to actually going to do practicing and practicing with a senior blood splatter expert, and you learn and you practice and you see what they're doing, so you become that person that now other people are going to shadow.
Okay, so if somebody taught you wrong, or somebody taught the person that taught you and they taught them incorrectly, they're going to teach you incorrectly, and potentially there's going to be defects in how blood stain pattern analysis is done. Is that correct?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Why not?
Because you're implying that I was taught wrong, or that somebody taught me wrong.
I just asked the question if somebody taught you wrong. Because agree with me on this. You took 3 courses, 3 40-hour courses, which means, how long have you been a detective?
10 years.
10 years. So in 10 years, you took 3 weeks in that 10 years to take classes on blood stain pattern analysis. Correct?
Yes.
And you then went on in the field and had somebody. Who was your supervisor? Who was your mentor? Who taught you?
One of them was retired Officer Chris Green, and we still have our senior blood spatter expert, which is another officer, who still works with the department and works with me.
Let me ask you this. Blood stain spatter analysis is not a science, correct?
It is a science.
It's not a discipline?
It is a science.
And were you taught that?
Yes. Did I take science classes? No, but I was taught that it was a science.
Right. I'm not asking you if you were taught science. What I'm saying is this a discipline or is it a science? They have different terms of art that the scientific community quantifies different methodology. So it's your take that blood stain pattern analysis is a science, yes?
Yes.
You know the distinction between front spatter and black spatter, correct? Is there a reason why you didn't state with specificity whether in this case the analysis that you did included front or back splatter?
Because there was no front spatter that was noticed.
Say that one more time, dear.
During the viewing of the area of the patient where the blood was seen, when you talk about front scatter and back scatter, what that means is if I hit an area that is with blood, I'm going to create blood that is going to go backwards or to the side, and some is also going to come back to me.
Correct. So, as if Jennifer Alonso was, the way she was positioned, if something goes behind her, is that front or back spatter?
That would be back scatter.
Right. So, you didn't, and you'll agree with me, if she was shot in one of the points of entry, and there was back spatter, or front spatter, I apologize, front spatter, that would be on the rug, correct?
It would be in front of the area where she was, but it would be...
Which was on a rug.
That's downward. It's very hard for me to understand or explain. How can you hit something that is at this point and it's going to go down? If it's immediately the person or something is in front of it, it's going to hit that surface first.
But you don't know how she was shot. You're speculating. Right. You're speculating. Wait. Sorry. You're speculating. You're speculating on a discipline that you have 3 weeks of classes on in 10 years. Right?
6 years.
I'm sorry, 6 years.
Of experience.
How many measurements did you take? How many measurements? You'll agree with me that numbers in this type of discipline are very important, correct?
Yes, when we are doing reconstruction, absolutely. Yes.
And in terms of the range of the spatter, how many measurements did you take?
Just the height and the width of the... Alright, the measurements that I was given are the measurements on how far I was able to see the blood spatter going into the height and the width of it.
Okay.
So those are the two measurements.
Maybe I'm not asking you for it. I apologize. Check the pattern. You drafted a report in this case, yeah?
Yes.
And you agree with me that in these types of reports where there's scientific analysis that's necessary, it's of utmost importance that you make sure you memorialize all the information and all the data that you have, correct?
Correct.
Did you take notes in this case?
Yes, I did.
Did you destroy those notes?
After the notes were transferred to my report, there's a reflection on my notes, and yes.
Okay. And in your report, when talking about the blood stains pattern, you have one measurement in your report. It says 2.5 inches high. You recall writing that in your report?
Yes, yes.
And that's a mistake, right? It's not 2.5 inches, right?
2 feet.
Right, but that's not.
Half inches. If you look at the 2, it has a apostrophe there.
So it's 2
That is
feet and a half an inch?
2 feet from the floor and half inch.
Okay, so that would be 24 and a half inches.
Whichever way you like to put it.
And that's the only measurement that you took and you put in your report, correct?
Yes.
Is it normal in these types of reports to have one measurement?
I will have to explain myself.
Let me rephrase it. In the manner in which you were taught in your 3 40-hour classes, and whoever shadowed you, that's how they told you to draft a blood stain pattern analysis report with one measurement?
When it's only documented and reported.
Judge, respectfully, I
Yes,
apologize.
yes. Ladies and gentlemen, due to scheduling issue, at this time we are going to have to recess for the afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, it is more important than ever that you not come to any form of opinions. You have not heard everything yet. All of my orders are still in full force and effect, being, don't come to any formed opinions, don't do any outside research, don't speak to anyone, don't allow anyone to speak to you. Do everything you need to make a lawful decision will be given to you right here in open court. If you would kindly leave your notepads behind, was able to take them with us and keep them in our office. I will order you to be back on the 7th floor at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Thank you all again for your time and your consideration.
Please rise.
Please be seated. I will remind you that technically you are still on the stand, so you may not speak to anybody about your testimony, and even upon the conclusion of all your testimony, the rule has been invoked for all witnesses in this case. I will ask that you be back at 10 to 10 tomorrow morning. Thank you very much.
Judge, I have an issue.
Yeah.
The day that we took Dr. Logan's deposition, which was 6 days ago, I requested of Mr. Padilla to please get the raw data of the testing of the alopecia, because Dr. Logan himself admitted.
I was just saying she's free to go.
Right, I'm going to finish.
Please be seated.
He himself admitted in depo that he would need to review that before giving him an opinion. And if you recall, during the motion to eliminate, the state agreed that Dr. Logan would be able to testify about the testing, and we would not make him call the chemist. And so all I asked was, and I reported it the very next morning to the court, that I would please like to see the folder so that, if anything, I'm not going to ask him to take his depo. I'm going to just sit outside with him for 2 minutes just to go through it. I'm not questioning it. I want to see it. It's been 6 days, and I still have not
been
gotten
able to get the data.
We have it, and I'll let Ms. Warren know we are going to. Huh? I asked for it. No, I know. We asked for it. They haven't given it to us. But let us find out. We are going to call the chemist. So that may negate that issue.
Well, then I would definitely still want to see it if that's what she's relying on, because
They've made the motion to compel.
No problem, Judge.
I am ordering you to have it by close of business tomorrow. Call. Yeah, and it's been a week. Okay? See you tomorrow morning.
All rise.
See you later. I'll see you tomorrow.
You can all be seated. Thank you.
Oh, no, you're right.
Excuse me. No recognition from Thank you.
You might be on the wheel. You got it? You're welcome. Yes, near I can give you. Thank you, Judge. See you in the morning. Okay.